Hey, so we're back with another episode for our Zooming Through Education podcast. And today's episode is about relationships and expectations and pressures that we have to go through in relation to our journey with virtual learning. So we are going to delve into that. But before we discuss everything related to relationships, let's do a little check-in first. And the activity that I have planned for this is to think of a song that best represents how you feel, just because music's very colorful and emotional, and I think it's a great way to symbolize how we're feeling in the moment. Who would? I can go first. That's okay.
Volunteered.
Yeah, so the next episode, ironically, is a really fun song, and I'm in a good mood today, so I think that best represents how I feel right now. It's a very funky and dancey sort of song, and I feel that today.
I haven't heard that one, but I will definitely look into it.
Yeah, I'll have to do that too.
I guess I can go next. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Boney M.
No.
So, first of all, Christmas is coming, and their Christmas album is like chef's kiss amazing. But their song Sunny is probably the one song that no matter what mood I'm in, if I listen to it, it's like, yes. I love.
Is there a certain song, or is that just the group? That's the group's name, right?
Boney M.
Oh,
And then
okay.
Sunny is their song.
Ooh, I'm going to look that up later.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Christmas is coming up, so.
Okay, so my song is Level of Concern by 21 Pilots.
Why is that, Sarah? Why is there a level of concern?
I'm a little stressed. But, it'll be okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We're here to support you.
Mm-hmm. And I do agree with that. It has been an overwhelming couple of weeks, so I totally understand your choice.
Well, we also weren't able to record an episode the week prior because of our busy schedules. We had a bunch of assignments due this week. So that's why episode 3 is kind of delayed.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
But it'll be a good one. So
yeah.
Worth the wait. Okay, so I guess we should get started. So I guess the central theme of this whole episode is the idea of how to maintain relationships during your experience with virtual learning. And there are so many aspects to it. And I wanted to talk about how you stay connected with your loved ones. Just because we spend all this time at home, so it's kind of difficult, seeing each other, seeing people that you're close to outside of this intimate indoor space. So I was wondering how you would go about staying connected with those you're close to.
Okay, well, I can go first. For family, I've been phoning a lot of people, especially grandparents who cannot text or don't have the internet. And for my friends, most of them don't live close by, so we've been doing a lot of video chats. So it's been cool being able to see friends from across the provinces that are away at school, or Netflix parties. Those have been great.
I've yet to participate in one, but I think we have one planned for Monday.
Listen, my
Tomorrow.
laptop is a struggle and a half, okay? If I get a new one by Monday, I will let you know. Fingers crossed that Netflix will work on it.
I mean, I could host it.
Even better. Perfect.
Yeah. See, that's one way. Great.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess with family, I've been pretty fortunate just because my grandmother, obviously she moved in with us a couple of weeks ago, so I get to see her more often. And I'm an only child, so it's just my parents and my grandmother and myself. But Yeah, it's a lot being an only kid and like having so many people in the house, because I'm so used to being like so separated. And now it's like everyone in one room, we're all having dinner together, and I'm shocked, culture shock. Like, I'm not fully prepared for this.
Yeah, it's different.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny because like well, like I have a big, like I come from a big family, right? So like we have a big extended family. And so for like Thanksgiving or like for Christmas or for Easter or whatever, right? We always have like get-togethers. And now since like COVID, we can't even get together. So it's odd. Like during Thanksgiving, we have a family group chat, like all the cousins, and we were all just like, this is so weird. Like we like, you know, it's an odd situation we're in. But
Mhm.
you know, you gotta take what you can get and enjoy what you have.
Yeah, for sure. Long distance relationships. So COVID definitely interferes with a lot of opportunities to connect with those that you're close to. How about your experience with virtual friendships? So for me, Sarah and I actually haven't met in person.
No, we have not.
No,
I've
but
seen you every week. I think we've talked every week.
yeah, we talk every week, and we also have many group chats.
Yeah.
But you know, like we're friends now, and I think virtual friendships is something that's starting to be really popular, especially with, you know, all the social distancing and rules, you know, in terms of COVID. So how do you guys feel about virtual friendships, or do you have any thoughts on it specifically?
Well, I have a question. Like, how do you feel? So obviously, like I've met the both of you in person, and we've started our friendships in person. But like Sarah and Caitlin, like, how do you guys feel about never having met each other in person and like having to get to know each other online? Like, has it been harder than
I think
like seeing each other in person?
it's been interesting because, like, whenever you mention, like, oh, my family's here, and then you'll start talking about your family, I'm like, oh, I'm learning so much.
Yeah, no, I think when we first met each other, it was that first night when we met up as a group for our project. And I felt a little awkward at first because I've
Mhm.
never talked to Sarah in my life. But, you know, she comes in, and of course, I have to be like, hi, hi, Sarah, how are you? You know, just to be nice. But we connected well. Like, we have a lot of similarities, you know, same level of concerns for a lot of things. So I think for me, I love virtual friendships. I have a lot of online friends too, from not from school, but um yeah, so I love virtual friendships. I think, you know, Zoom definitely opened up the door for meeting other people when you can't. So I am really happy that I met Sarah. So
I'm also very happy.
Could you imagine if you guys just openly like told each other that you don't like each other right now? If that was the case.
Uh,
uh,
have either of you heard of the app Slowly?
No, I
oh,
haven't.
So near the beginning of quarantine, I was using it, and it's like a pen pal app. So
oh,
the further away, like in a different country someone is, the longer it will take for your letter to get to them. And so you just get letters incoming from like all over the world, and then you can talk to some people. You can choose not to talk to them if you don't want to. But
oh.
for a while there, I was talking to like some guy in Turkey, someone in France, someone in Singapore. It,
Mhm.
it was just very interesting. And then one of them added, one of the people added me on Instagram, and I got a little freaked out, and then I deleted everything because it became a little too real.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
That's
It's a
like
really good app. It is a really good app.
remember when like people would go on like Omegle or whatever? I think that was what it was called, and you would just like sit with your friends and you thought you were so cool, and you just like flip through like the videos or like flip through channels in order to like meet new people over video chat. Like
Mhm.
you never really realize how scary that is up until you become an adult and you're like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of creepy people on there and out there in the world.
Yeah, that is definitely something you have to be mindful of.
Oh yeah.
People might not be who they say they are. I mean, for Caitlin, we were in a video chat of people we know. So.
Well, listen, Caitlin, whenever we start a Zoom and whenever Caitlin joins, she joins under her sister's name because that's how, like, her computer, like, I guess her sister just downloaded Zoom
Permanently
first.
changed it.
Yeah, and it's always her sister's name. So whenever she logs in, we're always like, hey, like, it's not Caitlin, it's her sister. Well, obviously we know it's Caitlin, but
yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, it helps that Sarah and I have mutual friends like Joanna. So that really helped us connect too. And I think just talking a lot on Zoom about everything and anything really helped us develop that, even though it's virtual. And I'm excited to meet Sarah in person soon.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Karaoke
Fingers
night.
crossed.
Yeah, I'm seriously going to plan karaoke night after this program. So
it's exciting.
I know where you live.
Oh, that's hey. Joanna knows me in real life, so it's okay.
I've picked you up before from your house, so
yeah. I know. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyways, moving on from the whole idea of virtual / long distance friendships. How about under maintaining relationships? So, because you can't really see, your loved ones a lot because of all this virtual learning and because of all the regulations that are in place. Do you feel that maybe for some of your relationships you haven't really put in as much effort in maintaining or nurturing? Because I have a few. I admit, I'm not proud of it, but there are a few relationships I haven't really maintained. So I was wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I definitely have a couple friends that I can go a couple months without talking to, and then we'll catch up. We might phone each other and have like a 3-hour conversation about what's been going on in our lives. That definitely has happened. But I've also had friends where they wanted to meet up in person, but we met at a park and we did a social distance visit, like a picnic kind of. So that was odd. It was really weird seeing people I know, but having to sit away and have masks on. But it was really nice to see them though in person.
I guess it depends on like what kind of friends you have, right? So like obviously, like Sarah, it's good that you have some friends that understand that, like you have a busy schedule. They probably also have a busy schedule. That's why they're so understanding with the whole, like, we haven't spoken for months, but like you pick up the phone and you talk like you saw each other like an hour ago. So that has a huge impact, obviously, because if you have those friends that are like, I expect a phone call from you every single day or like a text, and it feels like you're in a relationship that like you're not even friends at this point, it's like you're dating one another. But yeah, I guess you really need to set those boundaries as well, like have people that understand you and like understand your position, because like we're all adults, right? Like, as weird as it is to say that, because I still kind of consider myself a kid, but
yeah,
up here I'm
same.
a kid, I promise. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it's odd when you have those friendships that like, especially like during quarantine and during COVID, where people expect to hear so much from you, especially because they know because you're free. But I don't know, like I will admit I've been kind of like, I guess I've taken a step back from some friends. And I think honestly, quarantine has really showed a lot of like people and who they truly are. And so like you get to really see who's there for you. Like we get to meet up every single week, at least once a week, right? And obviously like having conversations like this is so necessary, and being able to like discuss your feelings and everything, it's so good. But some people like don't even want to meet up with you, and they expect you to be the first one to reach out. But it comes to a moment, it's like, okay, well, when are you going to be there for me? right? So yeah, to answer your question, I have distanced myself. I have undermined relationships, but it's been for good reason. So
no, that's a great response. I think quarantine definitely taught me about who is really there for you. And yeah, maybe you don't have to check in on me all the time, but just saying like a simple hello or like hope you're safe or keep safe would be really nice, especially from those that you'd expect it from. I was a little disappointed with some of the relationships that I had to let go of because I wouldn't expect that from the people. But it's okay. We're all in good places now, I hope.
Well, obviously you wish the best for those people, right? Like you don't wish anything negative, but it's just it's a point of outgrowing each other, right? Like, you know, maybe you don't have the same kind of like, I guess, like for example, like we're all planning on becoming teachers. Like we have certain goals that we've set for ourselves. Like if you plan on going on to graduate school, like you might want to do that, but some people, they want to, I guess, not, well, it's just two different paths, right? Like you don't have many things in common anymore, that kind of stuff, right? So like people used to hang out in high school with, or like elementary school, you guys don't share the same like the same things anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, I like how you talked about that, outgrowing and change.
It's nothing wrong.
No,
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it isn't. It's everyone goes through it, and yeah, it's common, so no need to worry about that. Anyways, speaking of, you know, maintaining relationships again, how about your social life? How do you feel that with all this virtual learning that we've been doing, do you feel that you have I was gonna say, do you have a social life? I'm kidding, no.
What
do you try?
What is a social life? I don't understand.
I guess we already touched upon this, like staying connected with your friends, meeting.
I mean, this is as social as I get. So
yeah, I totally agree with that. It's kind of hard to go out or meet up with people these days with everything they have to do. So
I will say with group chats, sometimes if you say something, it might not be taken right because of punctuation, or you don't use an emoji. So sometimes GIFs have been the best way to respond to people, because then they know exactly what you mean.
yeah.
That issue's come up a couple times when I've been like, oh, was that a little too harsh? I didn't mean it like that, I was joking. But yeah, that's just a communication thing. We're like, hey, I didn't mean it like that, I hope you know that. And they're like, oh yeah, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, sending memes are probably the best pastime.
Yeah.
With everything going on. So
memes as a form of communication. Don't kill me.
Yes. They're therapeutic, okay?
So I need to ask you then, Sarah, what's your favorite meme to send?
Oh, it depends on the situation. I have a lot of memes from some of my favorite drag queens, but I will only send them to specific people that I know watch that drag queen, because like if I just send this to someone random, they're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Just from like Drag Race, or is this like other?
Yeah, it's Trixie and Katya, because they have their own show. There are so many little like GIFs and memes from, yeah, it's great.
Yes, you need to share those with us now that we do know a little bit.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we should talk about family specifically, and how it's been like living at home, because all three of us do live at home right now. And I wanted to talk about how that has been. How has your experience been with virtual learning and dealing with your family on a daily basis?
Sarah, you started off, because once I start going into it, there's no stopping me. Okay.
Well, I have a sign on my door I made that says I'm in class and to not disturb. Whether or not people have been reading that is debatable. My dad has walked in a couple times when I've been in class, and then he'll be like, "Are you in class?" I'm like, "Well, you're already in the shot. Like, there's no point." like the other day when we were recording our group project, he opened the door and I looked
I
over
saw
and
that.
I went, go away. And he was like, do you want a tea? I'm like, sure, but not right now. So yeah, like dealing with people walking in, you kind of have to roll with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going with the flow. Oh my gosh, I totally feel that. My
Yeah.
sisters, I think, interrupted me so many times. Even when I was working during the summer, because I had to teach online every day, and I had my youngest sister home as well, and she would blast the TV so loudly. And then I'd have my dog barking like crazy because we had a lot of packages come in throughout the summer. So, you know, having a dog barking and your sister watching TV and listening to loud music was not fun, especially when you had to teach. But I think that's because we're the ones teaching. So maybe that's why it's, I don't know, it's an issue because you're the one talking and then, you know, your students or whoever you're communicating with will hear it. But I guess if you mute yourself, that should solve everything. Um,
Yeah, but you can only meet yourself so often, right? Like, especially the worst is if you get called upon in class and like you're in the middle of like trying to calm down your entire family and you're like, and it's like everything's going on in the background and you're like freaking out. You're like, can you hear me properly? Like, do I need to put my mic closer to my face? It's so bad.
Yeah, that happened a few times. Yeah. So how about you, Joanna? How has it been like living at home?
Extremely, extremely, and once again, I reiterate, extremely hectic. So how do I say this? Like I stated earlier, my grandmother moved in with us, and she suffers with dementia, right? Or she has dementia, right? And so she originally used to live with my mom's sister, and so now when she moved in with us, I guess they say that like some events, like some triggering events, cause dementia to progress like more rapidly, and so you can see it. You can see that it's getting a lot worse. But she doesn't really understand that she now lives at our house. She kind of still sees herself as a guest. She like won't open the fridge on her own. She won't do anything on her own. The only thing that she knows what to do is like how to get water from the kettle, and that's it. So if I weren't at home right now, which honestly, a virtual school has been a blessing in disguise, because since I am at home, I get to take care of her and I get to feed her. So in between my breaks in classes or anything, I'm like rushing around trying to like give her breakfast or lunch or, you know, just help her out with whatever she's doing. But it's been extremely hectic because I feel like I'm a mom, which, you know, like in my case, it's like it was kind of dropped on me. I wasn't like prepared to fully be somebody who's supporting someone who has dementia, and I don't want to say that it sucks because it doesn't suck, because I get to see my grandmother every day and I'm happy that I get to see her, and I get to develop more of a relationship with her. I get to be closer with her, but it's hard. It's hard to do everything at once, and a lot of people don't really get it because they just think, oh well, you know, she's older, like people start to lose their memory as they like age, but it's not that. It's that and a multitude of things, right? Like dementia isn't just losing your memory, it's losing like yourself, right? Like the other day we asked her how, like when her birthday was, and she didn't remember when her birthday was. So it's a lot of things. It's sad to see it happen, right? Like especially to somebody that you love. So yeah, life has been hectic at home. I'm a PSW, I'm a student, and soon at Brock I will be a teacher.
Yeah,
But
I know.
sorry, that was a lot. That was
No,
pretty
it's
heavy.
okay.
It's
No,
good to talk about.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Always vent to your friends because they will understand.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I definitely don't have that situation, but I do have to take care of my sisters a lot just because I'm home more often than my parents. So I'm like my sister's second mom. They call me mom actually sometimes. So I totally feel that, but I know your situation's different because it's your grandmother and
Well,
there's a little
it's a shared responsibility. Like I get your situation too, right? So like
yeah.
it's you are a second mom because you're, I'm guessing, preparing meals, like you're like getting
Yeah.
them to like do homework, whatever. Like I completely get it. So like I said, no one's situation is easier, no one's situation is harder. We're all dealing with our own stuff. Like I think the best thing that I've heard to explain is, have you ever heard of the plate? I don't know what it's called, but it's plate symbolism.
Oh, never heard of it.
So you know how somebody says, I have so much on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way of explaining it is, okay, well, I might have like a glass or porcelain plate, but somebody else might have a paper plate.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so we might not have equally amount, like the same amount of responsibility. Maybe I have like a lot of stuff on my plate and that person has less, but that person's plate is more likely to break,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's how I see it. I see it as everybody has their own issues and they all have their own ways of dealing with their things, but as long as, like, I always say, support one another. And like obviously Caitlin or Sarah, like you always have my support. And anybody who's listening, if you want to reach out and vent about your life, feel free. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to just even comment about it on YouTube, feel free to do that too.
Yeah, if you have questions, definitely let us know. How about the expectations and pressures? So maybe not just for family, maybe you have your own expectations that interfere with your virtual learning. Is there anything that maybe you want to talk about in relation to expectations? So for me, like my parents think that because it's virtual school, it's easier.
Oh my God. I've heard
Yeah.
that so many times from everyone. It's like,
Mhm.
it's not even parents too.
I know they assume it's easier just because you're at home, but they don't understand that some courses are structured to be a lot of, independent and self-directed learning, which isn't everyone's cup of tea. So, for me, I think that's something that has been bothering me, especially because, my parents would make me do a lot of things at home, and I'd be like, well, I still have this to do. But okay. I always do what they say. I don't know. I'm so bad, I guess. But
Because you're a good child.
no, I know. I try to find a balance between, personal responsibilities / family responsibilities and school. And I usually like take time to do schoolwork in the evening anyway. So, I can do most of that during the day. But when it's evening, I definitely need to do my work. So yeah, that's how family expectations have affected me. And yeah, I'm sure maybe it's the same for you too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sarah's like, I don't even know how to get into
Yeah.
it.
I think it's yeah. So I live with my dad. I don't live at my mom's, but I still talk to my mom and my brothers there a lot. And I think sometimes they forget that just because I'm at home all the time doesn't necessarily mean I'm available all the time.
Mhm.
Like my brother needed help with something the other day and he was calling me back every 10 minutes. And after about the 20th call, I finally snapped and was like, I told you I'm trying to write a module post. Can you give me 2 hours and I will phone you back? Like just 2 hours. I will phone you right back. We can talk for like, it's fine. And he's like, I'm so sorry. It's like, I want to help you, but I also have stuff to do. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Well, it's good that you communicated that.
It wasn't the
Right?
nicest way.
Oh.
I probably should have communicated a bit better earlier. Probably after the 10th call, I probably should have dropped bigger hints, but I
We're busy.
didn't have time. But
Yeah. No, that I'm like that too with my siblings, so no need to worry. Sometimes you do have to snap when they don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
it wasn't
I
necessarily
mean,
a bad way. It was just,
No.
hey, I have to do this.
Well, you have to set that boundary, and
Yes.
that's how you did it, and you can't change it anymore.
Mhm.
as long as you told him, that's what matters. You could have just completely left him on red or whatever, just not answered him at all and received 20 more calls after that.
Yeah. No, I like how you said, please give me 2 hours. You set a time limit. You were specific about what you wanted, and that's good. Okay. Any other, I guess, comments on, families or any other relationships that have impacted you lately with everything going on? No?
I think so.
I think we hit a lot of it already. But now that Sarah brought up her way of communicating to her brother, let's talk about communication and how does good communication look like in a relationship, whether it be, your sibling or your partner or friend. How does good communication look like to you?
So I'm a big believer in communication. Like I think it's key to any kind of relationship you have, whether it's with somebody that you're dating or friendships or family. I hate when people lie. That's probably the biggest thing that ruins like relationships for myself. I'm guessing for both of you as well, because I see the nods. But I will always tell you like it is, as bad as it sounds. But with communication, I'll give you an example. So when my boyfriend and I first started dating, my boyfriend Bryson, we kind of discussed why our relationships didn't work previously, and we said, okay, in order to make this work, what do we need? What do we need to have off the bat? And both of us agreed that communication was what we needed off the bat. And so like we've stuck to that to this day. Obviously there's some push and pull with that, because sometimes I won't want to tell him what I'm upset about, or he won't want to tell me what he's upset about, but like at the end of the day he tells me and I tell him, and we work on that together. And I think that's so important, because most relationships, like, it's sad to see it, but most people, like, they start dating and then they get into a fight and then it's over. And they're like, I don't want to fix things. Like, he's being stubborn, or she doesn't want to listen to me. It's like, okay, well, if it's a serious relationship, if you want to work on that, like, then you got to talk. It's got to happen. Yeah, that's my big that's my comment on that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think communication in any relationship is crucial in maintaining it. So oftentimes, especially now, oh my gosh, during quarantine, I think I was in conflict with my siblings and my mom frequently, just because we weren't used to seeing each other so often. So I think we learned to grow as communicators because of quarantine. But I think the reason why we were fighting a lot is because we, would always give each other too much space, I guess. We distanced from each other a lot, and we refused to even acknowledge each other's presence. So I think that really hurt us more than helped. And yeah, so I totally agree with you. Communication is very important. Yeah.
Well, I also agree with both of you. I know I have a best friend, and we talk often, and we have a sort of have an understanding that we can phone each other whenever, but if the person doesn't answer, don't take it personally. Or if I get a phone call and I can't answer, I just text busy, talk to you later. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And like vice versa, right? Um, so it's definitely important to have those sorts of things established. Like she knows I'm in school right now. I know she's working full time. So I know if I call her and she doesn't pick up, she could be doing something important, and I'm fine with that. So definitely having those things in place, those like boundaries set. If I don't answer, something's going on. Or if she calls me at a weird time, I'll just say, "You okay?" Like, "You good?"
4 o'clock in the morning phone call. Like,
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
"You okay? You're okay. Okay. We're okay." Well, I'm trying to sleep. So,
see, like
Oh my God.
that mixes perfectly with like what I mean by like I don't like liars. So what I mean by that is like not only when other people lie to you, but when you lie to yourself. Right? So like if you can't handle like, for example, like if Sarah, if you were any different than you are right now, and if you were the type of person that wouldn't be able to handle that kind of stuff but still continue to do that, like I I don't know, like I've had those friends that do that and then they go on to resent me even though they've agreed to like be that kind of a friend that's supportive and like help me deal through like with hard stuff that I've dealt with in the past. And then they come up to me later and they're like, well, you were calling me at this and this time, like you were texting me, like, oh, what was I supposed to do? Like I'm supposed to be your friend, but like you can't do that to me. But when we had spoken previously and I had asked for that support, they were like, yeah, of course, like you can call me whenever, like send me a text, like, and it's just like don't lie to yourself, right? Like if you can't be there for that person because you might be dealing with your own stuff, right? Like you might be going through something with your family or whatever. They're just like just your own life. And if you know that you can't offer that kind of support to that person, tell them, be like, you know what, I can offer my support in a limited way to you. But if it's like very heavy where you need to contact somebody every single day, like please do not feel offended, but I can't offer you that right now because I'm dealing with my own things. Right?
No, that's really great. Yeah, so just relationships are a commitment. So if you feel that you're not up to par for that, don't make so many friends. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
Damn. Kaylin's going
I'm
off.
joking. If you're not up to par of that, yeah, don't lie to yourself and just establish that right away. That's why communication is important. So if you feel that you're not in the mood to deal with someone because you're going through your own issues, as you mentioned, Joanna, yeah, definitely communicate that immediately before things get worse. Anyways,
You said that you like don't have too many friends. Honestly, I feel like if you're somebody that's younger that's listening, I know you probably have a ton of friends right now, but as you get older, you're going to really realize who your friends are. And listen to your parents when they tell you that they have a bad feeling about your friends because they're not lying.
they're usually right.
Yeah, they are.
you
would be. Oh, it's so scary when they're right too. I remember that happened to me in high school once. It's like, oh, I brought like this person home, and they're like, no, you're not friends with this person. No. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. But later on, honestly, it was pretty bad because later on, I ended up finding out that person was talking a lot about me behind my back. And my parents were like, we told you, but we're here for you. So cry on us, cry on our shoulder.
Nice. They still supported you. They didn't blame you for anything. So that's really good.
I mean, they said I was a massive idiot, but
I mean,
I deserved it. I completely got it.
No, I'm sure Sarah and I, like, we made that mistake too. Like, I've had many friends, and my mom would be like, no. I don't think you should stay friends with this person. And I would respond saying, why not? I mean, you don't really know this person. yeah, so it is weird when they happen to be right.
Yeah, parents have that extra sense. They have like the third eye. They see everything.
I know. I can't. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about setting healthy boundaries. So we kind of discussed that already, right? So, you know, if you aren't willing to make the commitment, don't do it, and communicate that right away. Say that you have your own things going on, but are there any other ways that you yourself can set boundaries with your relationship?
It's like I don't even know. My brain is like,
I know.
my brain's not here right now. Sarah, do you have anything?
No, I think it's basically what we covered. Like, communicate, don't lie to yourself about what your limitations are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have friends who have a set rule. They're like, don't text me past 9 p.m. And it's like, okay, I
Oh.
won't. But I don't know. Yeah, just communication is definitely key with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking
Definitely
a step back.
having that talk with your parents, like before we record, like on, because we typically record on Sundays, right? So I have the conversation with my parents. I'm like, at 4:00 I am recording. Please do not come into my room. Please do not. Don't call me. Do not yell. Please, you will hear everything over the mic, over the video. Just,
Yeah.
but you know, you also have to, I guess, with setting boundaries, I guess you also have to understand that everything is, there's a limit to everything, especially now with being at home. So with setting boundaries, I guess, like with your family, right? So you have to understand that they have their own things that they have to do too. So for example, the office I'm in is actually my dad's. And he was working here while their office was closed, while he got laid off because of COVID. But he was partially kind of not really working from home, partially like trying to figure out what he's doing. And then once he got hired back, his work told him to work from home. So he set up the entire office, and at the same time I started school. So it was kind of like a toss up of who was going to get it. So I guess when you set boundaries, you also have to be like lenient towards the people that you're setting these boundaries with. So like, obviously I would give him my schedule and I'd be like, okay, we're figuring this out. Like this day and this day I need to be online. I need to show my face in this Zoom class. And on this day and this day, I don't have to. And he's like, okay, great. So it's a balancing act, I guess, with boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to message my sister to tell everyone that I was busy recording. That's why you heard the ping before we started recording, thankfully. But yeah, so I often tell my sister to be my messenger when I'm busy. So if I'm busy doing homework or readings and my parents need me to do something, she usually steps in to help out in my place. So I think that she's a really huge help for me. That isn't really related to what we're talking about, but that's how I set boundaries. You know, I ask her to kind of help me out when I can't handle so much at once. So I think that's something that I do. I don't know. Are there any other things?
I mean, the sign on my door is another boundary, but it's certainly a flexible boundary.
Questionable boundary.
Physical one.
It's questionable. The hallway's dark. Might not see the sign. I don't know.
Honestly,
Do you
Sarah,
have a lock? Oh, sorry.
I do have a lock on my door. I
Me
could
too.
lock it. I just feel weird doing that. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
you guys have locks on your doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came with the house.
Wow. No European family would ever allow me would allow their child to have a lock on the door. Are you kidding me? I will be laying in my bed like watching a movie or something, and all of a sudden the door will whip open and it'll be my mom standing there, and she's like looking at me to see if I'm like awake or if I'm sleeping or what I'm doing, and I'm like, hello. Like, how can I help you?
No,
I
I
don't
also
use it though.
see, I don't really use mine either, which is why I also experience that. Like this
I would
morning
use
I
it
was
every
sleeping,
day.
I woke up to the smell of tea, realized my dad had put a tea on my nightstand. He's done that
Aw.
before. Like one time there was a donut and I was having a really weird dream and I must have like woke up enough to smell the donut and I was
Mhm.
like, why is it sugary? And like the dream got really weird. I woke up and I was panicking and I was like, oh, there's a donut beside me. That's why. Like,
Aw.
so yes, I have family come in and out of my room too. I don't really use the lock that often.
You get woken up so nicely. I wish. You know how I got woken up today? I got yelled at. I literally, every single Sunday, it's
Oh,
Asha, Joanna, get out of bed. And I'm like, mm-hmm.
I so feel that. My sister, like when I choose to sleep in on days where I don't need to go on Zoom early, she barges in because her room's right next to mine to get my eyelash curler. Just to get my eyelash curler. And I always tell her, use your own money to buy one.
but that's a
Stop
Christmas
barging.
idea. A Christmas
Exactly.
idea.
Yeah.
Perfect stocking stuffer
You
right
know what?
there.
I definitely need to consider that and write it down on my shopping list because
And maybe invest in a sign like Sarah.
I know a do not disturb sign like in hotels.
Honestly,
Yes,
just
I
the one that
need
you
that.
hang on your handle.
It just says in class. It has a thumb. It's up with a thumbtack.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah.
I can
Because
flip it around
oh,
on a
okay.
string. Yeah.
That's
I would
smart.
leave that
Because
on every single
when
day at all
no.
hours.
No, I did that and I got in trouble for that. Well, I never know. So I just walk in and I'm like, okay, I gotta start actually using it when I'm in class.
Yeah. No, because the second I lock my door, my mom will question me. Why are you locking
Right?
the door? What are you doing in there? I'm trying to do my work. But no, I don't lock anymore because of that. Because I don't want to deal with an interrogation process after. So
There you go. More expectations from your family. Do not lock the door.
don't lock the door. I know, but I should give me space because it's my room.
Boundaries.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take the time to make a sign that says "Do not disturb." I am
Or
working.
sit down with your family and just be like, listen, I need my space.
Yeah, no, I have a new job, so I'm gonna be working more, and I definitely can't have them interrupt me. So, yeah. Anyways, now we can jump into, I guess, the last topic, about compliments and appreciation. So I think appreciation is definitely connected to, positive communication in relationships. So, how do you show your appreciation to those you are close to?
I guess a basic thank you. I mean, I think it's, I don't know, like as you get older, obviously you begin to realize like what your family's done for you, like what your parents have done for you and stuff. And so like obviously when you're in high school or whatnot, you don't really want to spend that time with your family or your parents because you're like, I'm cool. I'm too cool for my parents. But now since we've been at home, I've been cooking a lot, which is odd. Um, don't I'm not a master chef. I'm not no Gordon Ramsay. Honestly, the comments that would be had if he came here would be pretty bad. But I guess like doing stuff for them to show my appreciation for, I guess, like for providing me like the space, right? So I can learn. Like my parents have helped me throughout school, so telling them like that I'm thankful and grateful, obviously, and just spending time with them too. I think that also shows that you're appreciative and that you want to, I guess, connect more and have better communication.
Yeah, quality time. And I think just, actually listening to them when they're talking to you is really important. So sometimes I would daydream, even conversations with my parents. So, I think my goal is to become more of an active listener, just so I can show my respect and appreciation that way. Yeah. Sarah,
Yeah,
do
I
you have
think
any?
it's a mixture of what you both just said, but I also give hugs. Not a big
Yeah.
hug person normally, but with my family, it's like I'll give them a hug every now and then. You're like, yeah, thank you very much for this, or thank you for
Yeah.
helping me out.
That's so cute.
I have to
So
force my
cute.
brothers, some of them. Some of them are younger.
Mm-hmm.
Teenagers don't like hugging. So just be like, proper hug, please, thank you.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't
gone to
force
hug my
them to
dad
hug
before.
me. But I'll be like, can I have a hug? And then I get that that one arm like bump. I'm like, it's not a hug.
Yeah. I'm a full
Proper hug is
embrace.
no hug.
You literally just reminded me of like my dad. Every time I go in for a hug with him, it's like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to love you. I'm trying to show I love you. He's like, get off of me. Like, what are you? I'm like, I just want a hug.
Yeah. I guess some people don't like physical affection like that. My
That's why
dad's like that too.
you need to ask, like, can I have a hug?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
He's
Always
not all
important
bad.
to ask.
Sometimes it'll be like, if I guess like if your parents or like your family notices that like you're not doing well, you're having a rough day, it'll be like, okay, come here. I'm like, oh, finally, the one time where I don't want to hug you now because I'm so upset and I'm livid and I don't want anyone touching me. Appreciation.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Everyone
Love you,
has their own
Dad.
way. Shout out to Joanna's dad.
Don't be surprised if at some point he walks in on one of our upcoming podcast videos.
Oh, I'm expecting it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I guess to wrap things up, I think a good thing that we could end off with is to, compliment one another and show our appreciation for each other, just to go in a full circle, as Joanna mentioned when I suggested it, or when she suggested it, sorry.
Oh yeah,
It's your
I was like,
idea.
what?
Yeah.
What did I suggest?
It was your
At what
idea. No, I said me. I'm like, wait, no, that was not me. It was
I would have
Joanna's
let you take
idea.
it. I didn't even realize that this was me. Like, when
No,
did
I
we
know.
have this
You were smiling, and then I looked at you, and I thought to myself, no, that was her idea, but she's smiling. So she didn't
It's okay.
notice.
You know what? Take it. I don't want it anymore.
It was her idea, okay? Disclaimer. Okay, so let's compliment each other.
Make it awkward. Why don't you? Okay, I'll go. You know what? I'll go first. I'll lighten the load. All right. First of all, to show my appreciation to the both of you, I wanted to say thank you for doing this podcast. For obviously, like, it's we all balance this together. Like we work on it together, and it's important that obviously all of us have a say and have a conversation and have a voice in this. And that's why I wanted to say thank you for sharing yourselves and for like feeling open enough to like have me in this podcast with you and not judging me for my craziness sometimes. I think you're both very wonderful. You're going to make great teachers. I already can see it. But yeah, that's me showing my appreciation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That's so sweet. Why are we laughing?
It's awkward.
I know it
You
is
can't take a
weird.
compliment, eh? What is this?
No, I said thank you.
The awkward laugh is more than enough.
No, I think it's just weird because we're being filmed.
That's
Fair.
true.
So it's different.
Okay. Well, I can go next. I'd also like to thank both of you for inviting me to do this podcast with you, because the two of you were talking about it and then I was there. So thank you for including me. Yeah, and I like how you both are very straightforward and you say your opinion, but you're also very supportive people, and I feel very comfortable talking to you both. and I'm glad that I have done this and it's made us come closer to become friends. So thank you for sharing yourselves with me.
Aw. My
I'm
heart.
crying.
Yeah, no, I'm my heart's melting right now. Okay, so it's my turn now. I want to thank both of you, so Joanna and Sarah, for being great collaborators. So we work very well with each other, and also for being for supporting me this year. So this year is really tough for all of us. We found a lot of overwhelming moments, so it's really nice to just take the time to vent to each other, and to know that I'm not alone in on these things. So it's really great to have you there to support me, and I'm really thankful that we're friends. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm friends too.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I think that's a great thing to do. So if you feel that you should communicate a little bit better in your relationships, and that goes for our listeners here, definitely displaying your appreciation is one way you can go about it. So anyways, I forgot what our next episode topic is about.
It'll just be a surprise.
Okay, it's a
Okay,
surprise.
Surprise.
But I would like to thank everyone for listening or watching our podcast. Feel free to drop questions on our YouTube or even submit it through Instagram if you have any questions, and we'll hopefully answer them next time.
Yep. All of our social media is the same. It's all Zooming Through Education. So if you look us up, if you're in the mood to listen to us on Spotify, we also have a Spotify account as well.
Yeah.
You can find us there.
Okay, bye. Thank you for listening.
Bye.